No, I did not. I did not get a Susie text message. Susie doesn't have my number to text me. So, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for tuning in with us today. Here, can y'all hear me? I can hear me. I'm pretty sure y'all can. Eyes a lie. I'm talking to the peoples at home.
All right.
Them people right there. The peoples that comes in and watches us. Now,
I'm about to send it to you.
give me 1 second. Yep. What happened? I shouldn't have did it that way.
Hmm?
Well, I had already started sending it, and for some strange reason, we are here. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are here today, and we are going to be talking about this new movie that everybody is chit chatting about right now. Wow, that's crazy. And that movie will be Sinners. And as you can see, I'm here with a special guest. Our son is here with us today. Say what's happening to the good people at home.
What's poppin'? How y'all doing?
What's popping? How y'all doing? That's what's happening. So today we're going to be talking about Sinners. Now, our son went and saw Sinners, and he thought it'd be a great idea to come on here and give our input on the movie. Is and all the things that has taken place in this movie, the ins, the outs, the ups, the downs. So we're gonna do that today. We're gonna sit here and we're gonna play with this movie, and we're gonna listen to what he got and what he took away from the movie. And I'm excited. I'm gonna let my wife save what she has to say about the movie herself, and
Oh, well, thanks.
and we'll do that. So, with that being said, welcome to the Pastors Q&A, and y'all already know how we get down. So, with that being said, let's go ahead and get into it.
Well, we can't hear nothing.
You gotta turn it anymore.
I didn't like how it looked. So, welcome back. My wife did say when we come back, we'll look pretty and different.
Yes. Look at this.
So
Look
this
at
is-
God. Won't he do it?
So, this is my wife's idea.
That's what we doing?
And I think it'd be great. It'll be good, you know. So if you're smart, you married, you realize, we'll say that for next week.
My God.
So we're here and we're talking about pretty much right now one of the most talked about and respectfully one of the hottest movies right now. If I can I say that?
Yeah, you can.
I can say this is one of the hottest movies right now.
It might be the hardest movie right now.
Right. So and hey, what can I say? You said it is the hottest movie right now?
Mm-hmm.
Me and Fat Doobie looked it up yesterday. It has one of the most Is it? This is crazy to me.
What are you looking up?
I had the picture of the actual movie, the screen. I downloaded it yesterday. What is it called? Sinners. There we go. So I wanted the people to see what and who and what we was talking about. Where did it go? Right.
There you go.
So yeah. So why are you not cutting over?
All right.
What is taking place in the world today? There we go. So this movie right here from Ryan Coogler, the director of Black Panther and Creed. I do love his Creed work. Not a fan of Black Panther. Well, at least not the first one anyway. And it has Michael B. Jordan. Now, I am a Michael B. Jordan fan. My son was even telling me that Ryan Creed did the other movie that really broke Michael B.'s career, which was at the train station movie. Well,
What's the train station?
Rail station.
Oh, I forgot about that movie.
yeah. So I didn't watch that
It was
movie
a
either.
long time ago, but it was a good movie. It was a really good movie.
So I heard. I didn't see it. I didn't like the
You gotta
trailer.
go back and watch it. It was
No, I'm
pretty good.
great. That's like forcing me to watch The Color Purple all over again.
No, it's not. It's totally different. And I don't even appreciate you
That's
comparing it to
that's my feelings.
It ain't.
I'm entitled to
It
my
is
opinion.
not.
Right. So now this is supposed to have been a movie that was really all Ryan Coogler. So he wasn't a studio hire. He wasn't brought in by a network. He wasn't. This is all him. This is his complete vision. From what I understand, he grossed 61 million worldwide. They was also talking about how much he spent on the actors. To me, roughly, he spent about 10 million, maybe 12 tops for all the actors, according to what they say. Now, they said for him to break even on this movie, he will have to make at least 196 million. To me, that means that some studio had to come in and tap out. But despite all of that, my son says about the movie. How do you see this movie? Because the greatest question that is out here is, should Christians be watching this movie? Should we be entertaining this movie? And our title is Sinners is the most spiritual movie right now, 2025, but not in a good way. So,
I don't agree with that because that Nate said about the lady in the yard.
right. Hello, everybody. Hey, April. Hey, she says she's wisdom. Oh, okay, great.
Lauren.
Hey, Lauren. Desney. Sorry I didn't shout everybody out. Terry Miller. Prophet, how are you, sir? Welcome, everybody. So we're going to be here. We're talking about this movie, Sinners. And I yield the floor to my son.
Yeah, how y'all doing? My bad, I get camera shy.
Don't be
He does.
Just give me a minute. Y'all just gotta work with me for today. So yeah. I went to go see Sinners, and for entertainment aspect, it was a really good movie. It was shot well, the score was excellent, everything about the movie was really good.
Oh, really quickly before my son continues, let me put this out here. My son is a my son is a movie buff. My son also writes and he does movies. So when he speaks about it, he's also not only speaking from it from a fan, so to speak. He's also talking from, because he said it was written, the score was great. So he's also speaking from a professional standpoint. So I just figure I'd just throw that out there.
I appreciate that. Yeah. So the movie was as a as for what it was meant to be to a person who just sees it
As a movie.
as a face value. It's a really good movie. Spiritually, it didn't sit right with me. In certain scenes, there's certain things about it that you can tell was meant for spiritual reasons. And yeah, that's just I'm not too out there about the meaning. Talking to my mom, and from what she's seen, she said that it's a portal. There's certain scenes in there that I think, yeah, it could be. But I don't know. I don't really know how to evaluate it spiritually. I'm not quite there yet, so that's why I want to be on here to talk to them about it and see from a pastor's point of view and things of that nature. So, yeah.
So initially, when I saw the trailer, I was like, nope, won't be watching that for my personal reasons. God has me in a place where now my spirit just can't take all of the killing and the horrific stuff that other people are desensitized to. So when I first saw it, I saw the vampires, but the first thing that caught my attention was the name of it, Sinners.
It's crazy because I didn't even see the vampires until I had to go back and look at the extended trailer. So, right.
Well, it was the name that caught my attention that made me even pay attention to the trailer, because y'all know I don't really watch TV and movies. Usually we go to the movies as family all the time. That's our thing. That's what we do. But usually when they come, they like, oh, well, what we watching? I'm like, I don't know. I don't know what's out there. So they telling me what's going on. But when I saw the name of it, Sinners, it caught my attention. Because as a pastor, as a deliverance minister, I'm like, wait a minute, where are they going with this? Because I understand that everything has an agenda. So when I saw Sinners, I was like, okay, what's the agenda with this one? Where are we going with this? So then when I began to, I think I started reading somewhere, and it was like, he is, let me think of the words, because what I read had nothing to do with what I saw.
What's happening, Tormel? Pastor Tormel.
What I read was more like, I can't even remember. But what I saw was a lot of seduction, vampires, killing. And I was like, yeah, what does one have to do with the other? So I was really lost. But when I saw it, I was like, no. So then about a week goes by, and Dewan is sitting on the sofa. He's like, oh, Ma, this is a really good movie. And I turn around really quickly and look at it. And the trailer is on, and immediately what I heard was, it's a portal. And I looked at him and I said, nope, it's a portal. And when I said it before I even realized what I was saying. And then when I said it, it registered, and I'm looking at what I'm looking at, and I'm like, oh, it is a portal. And the part that I was looking at, I think it was like fire. Was it a scene where there's fire in the back? And it was some women or something, some people.
So that scene that happened in the trailer was like the vampire dying.
Okay.
And what happened was it was sunset, vampires and the sun. So at that time, the sun casted over the vampires, and then they kind of burned up.
Oh, okay. So that was the scene I saw, but when I looked at it, what I saw literally was a black portal on the TV going into that scene. And I was like, oh, it is a portal. Oh my. Okay. So when it comes to telling Christians what they can and cannot watch, that's not me. Because there are some people who say they're fine with watching, as long as it's action, they can watch the killing, they can watch the murdering, they can watch the spiritual stuff, the demons, and it don't bother them. That's what a lot of people say, and I can understand that because everybody's not spiritually sensitive. So I can go with that. Me, on the other hand, I am spiritually sensitive. And I understand that whether you're spiritually sensitive or not, when you're watching something, your spirit is open to it. So if you're not spiritually aware when you're going into these movies or you're listening to the different music and stuff, baby, let me explain something. You're opening yourself to a whole nother world that you don't even understand about.
Well,
So not only that, I've noticed that the movies now, they're more spiritual than they are physical. So they have more spiritual undertoning than they do the physical, but because people are so oblivious to what's actually going on, they have no idea or even understand what's going on. So they're sitting there and they are literally hypnotized, not understanding that hypnosis is a spiritual thing and you are literally being tied into a spiritual world. So when you leave that movie, you're going home with something.
well, I was looking at, because when we went to go see Captain America, and I'm a preview junkie, so I have to be there early so I can see the previews. And I'm sitting there watching the previews, and I'm like, all the movies are dark. Everything is dark. Everything is about it's horror. Now I did see one movie I thought was funny that I did want to go see, but I was like, I really don't want to go see it because it's more of it has a horror undertone. And then it's like the lady standing outside.
The lady in the yard.
The lady in the yard. Then there was another movie I think somebody was telling me about that about the people coming up on shore and they buried them in the sand and then they came back to life. So it's like
wow.
movie after movie after movie after movie after movie. There's only 2 movies that I saw previews for, with a guy who couldn't feel pain. I wanted to see that. And the love guy, the guy who goes into hiding from his brother, and the Chinese movie. So that was about it. Outside of that, everything is like super dark, and
because the enemy has an agenda.
and everything, and then when you go from that to the music, that's super dark. Like me and my son was watching boom, body slam people.
Wrestling.
Right. We was watching wrestling, but it's the big wrestling thing.
The main event.
We was watching WrestleMania. So I grew up on WrestleMania, and I'm used to seeing, people coming out with the American flag, or it's an old country song, or it's just upbeat, and everybody was coming at it like every intro song was dark. One was talking about demons is flying. The other one was talking about the devil is here. One dude walked out. The guy who was playing the music had the Baphomet on his shirt. Wow. I was like, and I'm just listening. And it was only like 2 songs out of the entire 3 hours we watched. Only 2 songs wasn't demonic.
Wow.
And it was 2. Everybody else either had, well, to me, Just I'm paying attention to lyrics. I'm paying attention to sound, and that's my background. So I'm paying very close attention. I'm listening to what's being said, and I'm like, yo, everything, everything is dark,
Everything
and
has an agenda.
it's almost like now it is so blatant in your face. It's like it's
Yep.
here now. It's
Yep.
like it's almost to the point where this is how I've been feeling lately. This is, and Pastor Tamel, if I didn't say what's happening, how you doing? Hey V.
You did.
Oh, I'm sorry. So this is how I'm feeling. This is how I've been feeling. It's almost like either we have become pussyfied as Christians, or the devil is just a very great bully. That's how I've been. I'm just speaking for me. I'm not speaking for the church. I'm not speaking for my wife. I'm not speaking for the pastor's Q&A. I'm speaking solely for Anthony Jackson II, because this dude done walked out in the middle of the yard. It's almost like Goliath. That's how I'm feeling. It's almost like we just being taunted, and we are only on, and we're like halfway through day one. It's just like, I'm here. What you gonna do? What you gonna say? What you gonna create? What you gonna the counter? What I'm doing? Like that's how with everything that's taking place.
I agree. So you being a young man, you younger than we are, but because I have raised you guys know the word, you guys know the spiritual side, you guys, as you all are getting older, because my baby girl went and saw Lady in the Yard, and she came home and was like, Ma, she was already like, I don't really watch that stuff, but one of her friends wanted to go see it. She was like, she talked me into it. She was like, the entire movie was spiritual. The entire movie was spiritual. She said she was sitting there. She began to pray over the people in the theater. She said, and as she looked up, she could see the demon literally walking back and forth, pacing back and forth in the theater, at the front of the theater, but it wouldn't come into the crowd. And I told her, I said, it's probably because you were praying over the people and covering them. But this is the agenda of the movies. So, tell us a little bit about the movie, or some of the things that didn't sit right with you.
Percentage, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm sorry. We're going back to Sinners. I'm sorry.
She went from a lady.
I did.
Standing to sinners. Well, let me start off by saying spoilers to anybody who might decided that they wanted to go or want to go see the movie. Heavy spoilers, because I'm going to just tell you the whole movie. And we just going to break it down wherever they want to stop at. So, I don't know the exact opening scene because we came in a few minutes later or whatnot, but
Got you.
the scene that we opened up to was, in my eyes, was the main character. His name is Sammy, or his nickname goes by Preacher Boy. Preacher Boy is, as you can see from his nickname, he is the son of a preacher. And the scene that we walked into, his dad was telling him straight away in the church, if you go and you chase the world, the devil's gonna come after you. So that pretty much laid the whole tone of the movie, and that's quite literally what happened. So at that time, Sammy had his guitar. He wanted to do music, and his cousins pulled up. His cousins is played by Michael B. Jordan. They're a set of twins. One name is Stat, the other name is Smoke. Smoke is the more serious, down-to-earth, straightforward as possible can be.
Got you.
Stack is the more jokester between the two. He is the one that, says the jokes he'll kill you, but he is jokingly about it. And even with Michael B. Jordan's performance,
I heard
he
it was
did a
amazing.
phenomenal,
I heard it was amazing.
phenomenal job
Yeah.
playing the twins.
Right. I heard it was amazing.
It was, yeah, it was. As I said, for entertainment purpose, they did their thing with this movie. Yeah. So yeah, the twins came, picked up Sammy, and the twins are originally from down south, which, by the way, the movie takes place in Mississippi. They're originally from Mississippi.
Go
And
figure.
The twins left for 7 years.
Oh,
They were,
they say they can't hear you. They can't hear the one.
They can't hear the one.
Yep. Thank you, Josiah. Go figure.
the twins left for 7 years.
They say they can't hear you. They can't hear the one. Okay. Yep. Thank you, Josiah. Go figure. Let me see. Thank you, Josiah.
Say something.
Something. Testing. 1, 2.
Yeah, that might work. Go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah, he real low on YouTube.
Go ahead. You good?
I'm good. Okay. Alrighty. Oh man. So I'll just start over.
Okay. There we go.
Okay. Good.
Yeah.
So now that you all can hear me, I'll say everything I said again. So the movie is really good. It takes place in Mississippi. And the scene that we walked into was in the beginning, but I don't know how far into the beginning because we came a little late. So the scene takes place in Mississippi, at a church with what is in my eyes as the true main character, which is Sammy, aka Preacher Boy. Preacher Boy is the son of a preacher, and they're at his dad's church. And the scene that we walked into was the scene where his dad told him straight up, if you go and you chase the world, the devil's going to come after you. And that laid the tone of the entire story.
There you go.
All right. So, yeah, he still decides to leave. Sammy decides to leave with his cousins, who are played by Michael B. Jordan. He plays as two twins. One name is Stack, the other name is Smoke. And they came to pick him up. Stack and Smoke are originally from Mississippi, but they left for 7 years. They went up to Chicago. They served in the military. And after that, what did they do? They were gangsters working for Al Capone.
Wow.
So they came back down to Mississippi to start up a juke joint. So pretty much the first half of the movie is just pretty much laying down the ground of who they are and trying to get people to work with them at the juke joint. So they gathered Sammy first, and on their way they split up. And Smoke went into town to get a couple who worked at they had several stores in the city. He went and got them. He shot 2 people all along the way.
That's crazy.
And I forgot their names. I think one of them is Grace. She is an Asian lady. And the other one is her husband. I don't remember her husband's name, but he's also Asian. And at the same time, Stack and Sammy went down to the train station to go pick up an older guy. I forgot his name, but he's like a drunk who does nothing but play music.
Right.
He was really good. And that's where Haley Stein, I forgot her name, Haley Steinfeld?
Mm-hmm. That's it. Haley
Okay.
Steinfeld.
All right, cool. That's where her character comes in, and she's an old lover of Stack. And disclaimer, a lot of the sexual tones in this movie is out of this world. They just say some off the walls, crazy stuff when speaking sexual. And she off the back said something, and it just, me and my partner was looking at each other like laughing because of we didn't believe that they would have said something crazy like that. So yeah, they gathered some people there, and pretty much this is when the movie kicks in. The juke joint start up the juke joint. Oh, I forgot one scene. One scene is Smoke getting his love interest, and she is a voodoo. No, it's something called Udu, not voodoo. Udu, something like voodoo. I thought that was the same until I heard Udu, but she does Udu and delves into all of that.
Same thing. Just a different name.
Yeah. Which, in fact, the actress who plays the character, she says that she had to pray and had to learn under an Udu priest so she can nail the role down.
Wow.
So technically, let's start right there. I'm glad you brought that up.
Okay.
So now, in order for her to play the role, she had to go under a Udu priest. So let's do like a lot of people do.
What is a Udu?
Is a Udu priest. So now you are going deep. Does not appear correspond in misinterpretation. The content Udu stands for. No. That's not what I'm looking for, sir.
Could be spelled voodoo without a V.
Yeah.
So
Probably. I don't know.
Udu. It's like voodoo. Maybe I'm even spelling it wrong. Oh, got you. Udu priest.
Yeah.
It's ODU. Udu.
Okay.
So, Sam knows. It is a Yoruba religion. In Africa, diaspora religions. Kind of like voodoo. It's spelled Udu the way voodoo is without the V. It's a sacred text, divine message, and it's a divination system. You have a male priest and a female priest. Trained interpreting Udu, contains 256 signs or stories used in divination and guidance. Now, I do know about this Yoruba tribe. I had a good friend of mine who his dad was a king in West Africa, and he had to go be initiated as a priest. So the Yoruba tribe, they mix voodoo and the Bible together. And when I got with my wife, the very first time she took me to deliverance, when I got deliverance from Pastor Ken, I had to go back because I participated in some of their cleansing. So they do the same thing as the Chinese. They make food for dead people. They sit it outside. They light candles. They take tobacco, vodka, tell you to take a bath, say the Lord's Prayer, and then pour this concoction over you so it'll cleanse you. A spirit is crazy. So he had to go through the whole ritual. Then he had to wear white for an entire year. And hit that button. It was blood sacrifice and all of that. Not in the back. It's a little bitty button.
Red button.
So, so now what I'm seeing and what I'm hearing is for her to actually play her role correctly, she had to go sit under a Udu priest. So that means to me that anything that she did in the movie dealing with that, if she said any incantations, if she did anything, she was literally casting spells in the actual movie. For her to have to go sit under a priest to really do it right, it sounds great because they use the word priest. But you're really messing with a witch and a warlock.
For her to have to sit under him and go through the training, that means she has now been trained as a witch. Rachel explains it.
So Rachel said from Africa, Udu is tied to the foundation of certain black churches. Exactly. And a gentleman from Africa, I forgot his name, he came and brought strange fire from Africa to the black church. And this Yoruba, Ocean, all of them, they are all connected. They're family. They're like cousins. And they all run through the black church in America. So this is why, what's his name, take the heat he does, Philip Mitchell, because he's not affiliated
with
any of those. So this is why he gets
one of the reasons.
Not the reason, but just one.
Why now?
Right. He takes the heat.
He's no longer the favored pastor, but now
right.
They starting to they started to twist it up.
And he's been invited to a couple podcasts that he done got up and walked off from and checked people in the podcast and then left. So, but besides that, so to hear that means that from the time she walked on set, doing filming, I don't care what you try to edit, it's already embedded into because it was written. So that means it was written with the intent for that to be there. So that's why I was like, for me, I like Ryan Coogler as I heard an interview with him one day that I didn't like. It's just some of the things he said. As a director, from director to director, I like him as a hired director. What I mean is Black Panther, Creed, like you're hired by a studio. So it's not really your vision. You as a director, you really are trying to bring to life the cinematographer for the vision, a vision. And you're bringing in the writer's vision and you making sure that all the pieces work together. But when you ink it yourself, because this is his baby, right, from start to finish. So when you ink this yourself, you put in your intentionality from the beginning, from script. So now if it's embedded from the script, that means that this is all. So that means that everything in the movie already is under a spell. It's already under certain incantations and divinations. So Jesus, hi. So when you looking at it from that perspective, so now it goes back to, should Christians
even
be going to this movie to understand that means that you are already walking into something that is already designed to put you under a spell. You're already designed to walk away with having what it do, Big Juice, with having something to fight against you spiritually, something to come. Like my wife said, it's a portal. So for that to be,
it ain't fighting against you unless you know what you're doing. But you're when you go to actually watch these things and to voluntarily listen to this music, you're coming into agreement with it. And so you're basically saying, hey, I'm open. Come on over here. You can now have my finances if that is the agenda. You can now have my children if that is the agenda. You can come and you can have a way with my house if that is the agenda.
And also on top of not even that, when in Matthew 4, when the devil was coming at Jesus in the wilderness, Jesus said, thou shalt not tempt the Lord thy God. And he was repeating what Moses said in Deuteronomy, because they was trying to, God was like, nah, don't cross that black line right there. And it's like, but I can get close to it. You know what I'm saying? And I may not cross it, but let me do the smooth criminal. Like I can just lean a little bit. You know what I'm saying? So now you tempting God, you playing with him. So now when we entertain certain things like this, that's what we doing. We're tempting God and we not supposed to. So once you come into that, now you pretty much have put yourself in a position where his hands is off, because this is what you want. This is what you want to play with. So since this is what you want to play with,
let's give it to you. So Rachel says, words have no sense of humor. Whether you are saying spells for the sake of entertainment in a movie or in real life without a camera, those words still carry the same weight.
Yes, ma'am.
And have the same binding power. The enemy is not fair. So when you talking, even if you lying and you joking, it's still a lie. And the enemy still gets to use it because he don't play fair. Ain't no joking.
And I'm gonna go deeper, not even to say binding, because once you start looking at how binding and loosing is used, you're really coming into a covenant with these words. Your words now become a covenant, because now you're
Which is binding.
that's another day for another story.
Okay.
Right. So, but you're coming, your words with this, like this, now becomes more of a covenant, because you're speaking from a spiritual standpoint. So now, because you're speaking, regardless if it's dark or Jesus, when you begin to speak, that means you are in a covenant with what you're saying. So a decree is already written. So Satan has a decree. God has a decree. So when you begin to declare what that decree is, then now that means that you are in covenant with that decree. So if she is now starting to have to go sit with this warlock, so to speak, to
priest,
go out and come into the movie, so it'll be more realistic and it'll, as we say, it'll hit different. You know what I'm saying?
Well, it's going to hit different because it's the real thing at this point.
Right.
Anytime you've got to go and sit under and be trained, that means you're literally being trained in that thing. So if I'm being trained under a priest, I don't care if it's for a movie. If I am, let's take a prophet. If I go sit under a prophet to learn how to be a prophet in a movie, what does the word says? The anointing transfers.
Right.
So I'm sitting under this prophet. I'm learning what I'm studying and doing what this prophet does. So when this prophet is going and sitting in the presence of God and I'm having to do the same thing, I'm getting the same blessings that this prophet is getting. I am experiencing the presence of God. If I am going and I am and understand that when you start training under these things, the enemy, because he is not legalistic, if I'm sitting under a prophet and I'm learning these things, whether to my knowledge or not, that this is actually happening, the devil begins to come against me.
Right.
I'm spiritually being attacked in my life. That's just like the guy who played Jesus, Mel Gibson. When he played in The Passion of Christ, he talked about how playing Jesus, his body got attacked physically. Right. His mind got attacked physically. He's playing this role in a movie, but because of the spiritual context and what am I saying? The physical part of what he's doing, now I am giving this to the world.
Right.
The enemy does not like it. So if I am sitting under a voodoo priest or priestess and I'm being trained by them, I am literally being initiated into their religion. And that means that if they're doing rituals, I'm doing the rituals.
Right.
So everything that priest or priestess that I sat under carried, it's now been transferred to me.
And then you're now.
So now I'm coming on the scene, right, on the set. 9 times out of 10, if she was training for the movie, she was training at least a year.
At least
This has become habit. The prayers, the rituals,
everything.
everything has become habit. So she comes on the set. What is she doing? She's praying over the set
She praying over the set, and she's doing it in her real life.
and in her
Not
real
knowing
life.
that she's bringing that into her real reality.
But I said she's praying over the set because now
It has
the
to flow.
set has become that portal.
And the altar for
There you go.
what that is.
So now whoever is coming to watch it is partaking in those rituals, in those curses, in those prayers, in those incantations.
and you're at, and pretty much the screen is now becomes the altar that you sit at, because now
And you're
it's-
partaking
and you're
of.
partaking inside of the altar.
That's right.
So to my people out there who have watched this movie, I would say, you might need to do some praying and some repenting and
Some deliverance.
some deliverance.
Okay, so
You're putting the sacrifice
on the demonic altar.
Just as a voodoo priest, the demon don't care about if you're an actor or not. Exactly.
Okay. Next scene. You didn't know what you was getting into. You kind of did, but you didn't.
No, I didn't. I went overnight. I didn't give it time to breathe and
Right.
have people review it. So we just went in.
So you said she
Met
sat
the-
under. She came in.
Mhm.
She was praying. She was doing the stuff on the.
So she met the love match.
Yeah.
One of the twins.
One of the twins met up with her so she can come to the juke joint. After that, they were setting up the juke joint, and yeah, everybody was having a good time until Sammy started singing. And first of all, bravo to the actor, because he
I heard that he
killed it with singing, and that was a gift from God. Because the second he started singing, it was like everybody's eyes was glued to him.
and not even that. I was reading, because I knew we was coming to talk about this today. So I was even reading about how spiritually it moved people who went to watch the movie, how it moved people on the set.
His singing.
Yes.
Okay.
Because even when I was doing the research, that was one of the number one things that came up. It was like, the singing. Even when I was trying to put together this, even the research from Sam, it kept popping up about the singing. So the spiritual aspect of the worship and
So he was
praise.
singing he was singing a spiritual song.
It wasn't even a spiritual song. It was just his singing.
Right.
He has an anointed voice.
Exactly.
And it was it was like, I don't even know how to explain it. It was just listening to him made me want to like delete everything in my Apple Music and just listen to blues.
Wow.
Or like want him to make music. Like that's how good it was.
Wow.
Yeah, it was good. And while he was singing, a narration came up, and the narration was like, there are certain people with gifts that God gives them, and to the point to where it moves in the spirit realm, where it moves spiritually, and it can, with his music is bringing up music from the past, the present, and the future. And the scene turned from him singing, and as the camera goes around, you can see the past, the present, and the future. You can see somebody playing on the little DJ booth, and then the beat will come up. You can see on the other side, a whole group of girls twerking, and then the remix of the beat come up, and then it pans over to the past where in Africa, you know, when they have like the straw, like a little straw costume, and they're doing like the spiritual dances. You see that in the scene. You see when it pans over to the Asian couple, you can see like a pass from, you know, their side of what they do and things of that. And it was crazy to see. And while that's going on, the building's burning down. So the building is actually being set on fire. And that entire scene, it goes from being a juke joint all the way to just ash. And all you see is all the people just dancing while he's singing. Wow. So you can still see the African, I don't know what to call them, but they're dancing around. You can still see the girls twerking. You can still see the dude on the beatbox thing. You can still see the dude using the electric guitar. And that whole scene is going, and you still hear his voice. And it's still grabbing me.
Because
while everything else is going on.
Music is spiritual.
Very
Music
spiritual.
is spiritual. And the fact that he grabbed everybody like that.
Right.
And then but you said in the narration, it said music is spiritual. Mm-hmm. So they knew what they were doing.
They knew that.
Like, you can, going through it, you can see how this was put together. Yeah. And it is put together to hit you spiritually. Mm-hmm. But because it's entertainment, you don't go in there with that expectation. Mm-hmm. You go in there blind. This is a movie. And this is how so many people get caught up in fantasy, in being terrorized. You go to a movie, you go home, and now you're having nightmares every night.
Right.
And that's not even from horror movies. I know people who have caught demonic attacks excuse me, from cartoons. So it doesn't even have to be a horror movie or whatever. It is the agenda of the spirit behind the movie.
And sitting here listening to you talk about the hey Erica.
Hey Erica.
Sitting here listening to you just talk about the singing and it taking you back and the camera spinning. So
hey Shantae. Sorry.
Oh yeah. Hey, Shantae. You as a creator, I as a creator, understand camera movement is everything. Mm-hmm. It drifts an emotion. Just a slight pushing of the camera. Not even they don't even have to be saying anything, but that is done with the intent to draw an emotion from the individual who is listening. And I'm sitting here thinking about your mama saying about it being a portal. So here we are, as you consider him to be the main character, not Michael B. Jordan. Michael B. Jordan is the ticket seller. The main character is the Sammy guy, the singer. So now, with the pulling of the camera and the twisting, because I'm pretty sure it was a 360 shot.
It was. It was a 360. There wasn't no cuts. It was all
one
continuous.
You go through the entire juke joint.
One continuous shot. So now with that being said, I'm from a director seat and from a cinema photographer seat. As a cinematographer, you will bring that to a director because it's like, hey, if we can get this one lucid shot, we can now grasp the emotion that we're trying to convey. That's not a director's idea. That's a cinematographer's idea. So now with that, you have, and it's going in a 360. So now if everything is burning down around it, that is the beginning of the open of the portal. that's what's in my spirit. I didn't hear about this. I didn't hear.
Oh
about this
yeah, that's Susie.
Hey Susie. So now from that standpoint, even if there's a narration taking place and you can still have the voice sitting on top of the narration, usually in a movie it's the opposite. The narration, the voice will go down and the narration will sit on top of the music. But now for that to take place, so now you have the young lady who you said went to go study under the witch doctor, the priest. No, I'm gonna call him what he is, the warlock. She went to go study under the warlock. It took you back to African dancing. A lot of that is very spiritual.
Absolutely.
So now I add that. Twerking is very spiritual. And people don't know that twerking is very spiritual for perversion, lust. It is highly spiritual. So now I incorporate that. You incorporate the current, the DJ was to throw you off. Yeah. That was to add
a point of innocence.
Right, to add, let me sprinkle a little innocence on here, whatever the case may be. And he's just about the music aspect because that's what's being played right now at this time. So now you have the African dancing, then a lot of the things from ancient times all had spiritual essence. So it didn't matter who culture you went into in the background, whether it's the Chinese culture, the African culture, the American culture, a lot of things have a spiritual connection to it. And so now all of this comes in together. You take the one thing in the world that binds everyone together,
music,
and that is music. Everybody. Michael went on every continent on this planet. He brought people. You can bring people together from any background in the world with music. So now here we are, and that opens the door with the 360 spin and with the one shot take where you're just following, because now at that point, from a movie creator standpoint, this is my hook, line, and sinker, because I'm pretty sure after that scene, that's when everything jumps off.
Yeah.
Right. So now that to push you through all of the emotions, to get you into everything, to draw, that's my hook, line, and sinker to draw you in. So
I got
now,
you locked now.
So now with the voice, the movement of the camera, already the prayers and all of that it has been done on the set, now you're hooked. So now it's easy to introduce
whatever
the villain, which is the vampire.
That's exactly what happened. Well, actually, let me check.
Wait a minute, hold on. Rachel said, "I know they implemented hertz and frequency persuasion towards the audience, taking a gift from God, His voice, and perverting it, using it for seduction and manipulation."
There you have it.
Okay, go ahead.
That wasn't the first scene with the villain or the vampire, the first guy. It was a little bit before this, and it was pretty much just breaking down what's next to happen. And it was the scene. It was a scene where the main vampire was running, and he was in daylight. And he ran to this house that was in the middle of nowhere. And he was banging on the door, and once he opened the door, this couple came with guns, aimed at him like, "Why'd you at our doorstep? What you want?" And he was saying he needs help. He ain't got nowhere else to go. "I can leave if you want me to, but I really need help." And them being the like-hearted people, they brought him into his home. And that was the first essence that you see that he's a vampire.
Right.
So what they did.
And the only reason you saw that was because he was running from the sun.
Yeah, that and two, he asked to be let in.
And
Oh,
And that was like
That.
the main thing in the movie.
So I want to hit that aspect.
go ahead.
For those who are watching or will watch later, you have to understand that in the spirit realm,
You have to
there
be
is
patient.
nothing that the enemy or God can do unless you open the door and invite them in.
Yeah.
Invitation only.
Invitation only. Whether they want, whether they do it up front or deceitfully.
Yeah.
In the when you're going into a movie like this, it's deceitful because you don't know that when you come to see this movie, you're coming into agreement and giving them permission to come in. They have to ask for permission. Thank you, Lauren. They have to get permission to wreak havoc in anybody's life.
And the reason they did that is also you have to have a way to introduce the villain.
That part.
And so regardless of whether it was a picture or whatever the case may be, there still has to be an introduction. So for you to see him, that was your introduction.
Yeah.
Then for him to ask for permission to come in, then that's the foothold, as Rachel said, to get the door open. And once you open the door, then
And we ready to go.
Yeah. And that's exactly what happened in the scene. They let him in, and it was people of Hispanic descent who was chasing them down and things of that nature. And they came to the house, and dude came, knocked on the door, and she did the same thing, aimed her guns like, "What you want?" And he was like, "We're here to let you know there was somebody in this area. He's very dangerous, very dangerous. Have you seen him?" She was like, "No." He's like, "Okay, well, it's getting dark, son. He come out at night. We about to go." So they left. They left, and once she closed the door, yeah. And once she closed the door, she was calling for her husband.
her husband dead already.
Her husband showed nothing, so she went down the hallway, see where he is. He on the floor.
He dead already.
He on the floor, and then the vampire got blood all over him. And he's like, "Oh, he's fine. He's taking a nap." And once he said that, her husband got up.
Because now he a vampire.
Yeah. And he was like, "I'm doing fine, honey." And then they took control of her. So now it's 3 vampires in the movie. And while the scene was happening, later on, juke joint and the whole him singing, his singing is what led
The
the
vampires,
vampires
to them.
The main vampire was named Remick. So Remick wants that. Remick loves that. He wants that. So now they got his attention. Now he outside of the juke joint. So he comes to the door. All 3 of them, they got their little banjos and they play.
Like they playing music.
Yeah, so they want to be let in. So the dude who was like the security guard at the time was like, "Hey, get smoking stack." So they come. They're like, "What you want?" "Y'all white folks not supposed to be here."
Gotcha.
And they was like, "Oh, well, we heard good music. Look like y'all having a good time. Can we join?" Now again, they're asking to be let in. Mm-hmm. So they were like, "Yeah, nah." We was like, "Well, while we here, we can go ahead and play something for you." And they're playing it, and like the whole music theater is dying laughing. Like everybody inside the theater is laughing, including me and my partner.
'Cause they
like
don't
we
sound-
laughing because we like, y'all sound good, but like
It's
we
not-
just heard old dude, and y'all ain't that. So get to stepping. So that's yeah. So they leave, but they said like, "Oh, we'll go real slow just in case y'all change y'all mind." So then they went and they just sat outside like a little bit further. And Haley Steinfeld character, remember how I told y'all before this, everybody was like 7 people who was playing as if they had the 7 deadly sins.
Right.
Yeah.
Her sin was greed. So what happened was she was like, "Hey, look, they white. They might have white people money. Let me go out there and see what they want. I'm white, so they'll talk to me."
Get some Dawn. I gotta get some.
She like, I'm white, so they'll talk to me. So then Stack was like, yeah, go. She took his gun, and then she went. Then she went on and was talking to them. And as she went outside to go talk to them, they playing music and singing. Now this song that they were singing sounded even better. I ain't gonna lie, I was rocking with it. They would have got me with that. Yeah. So they started singing, and then she sat down and was real comfortable. But then they was talking, and one thing that the vampires do in this movie is they start drooling when they want blood. So as the Remy is talking to her, you know, calming her down, getting her, and she's actually going for it. The drooling happens. So when she realized, she steps back, get the gun. It's like, yeah, y'all better go get out of here. And as she turned around rocking, thinking everything fine. Little do she know, he a vampire. So then, like the very last second of that scene, he starts to like float. It's about to go after
Levitate.
her. Yeah. And then it cuts out back to Juke joining everybody having a good time and whatnot. And then she, after that, you don't see what happened to her.
But she come back into the juke joint.
She come back. So she comes back. So again, she didn't just go straight in like how she been doing. So now she go back to the door and is standing looking at the bodyguard. And it's like,
She got to ask permission.
you gonna let me in or what?
Right.
And he like, oh, okay, come on.
Because she got to get that permission.
Exactly.
You can't come in without that permission.
So now remember how I said she stacks his love interest. So she come in and she on 10 with him. I want this, and that. She's saying some crazy stuff. And he folds. He folds to Lush. They go back.
Spirit of lust.
They go back in the room.
Over.
And they get along. And things like that. So just like that, it's over with. After Sammy get done singing, it was another character that they met at the train station. I didn't think about it, but her name was Perline. She was a black lady who was married. And Sammy saw her at the train station. He was trying to get at her. But she was like, nah, you two, you're not ready for me. And kept moving. After he got singing, he was ready for her, and she was doing it. So they went inside the room, and they did what they were doing and whatnot.
So, pause right there. Because the spirit of lust, perversion, seduction, those spirits all work together. But you see how subtly one spirit introduces another spirit, introduces another spirit, and you're in a movie theater. Your spirit is greed may not be the spirit that latches onto you, but lust and perversion now is. Lust and perversion and greed may not be the spirits that latch onto you, but now murder latches onto you.
Right.
So they're introducing all these different spirits in this one place.
Yeah.
And you've opened yourself up to it.
And in the beginning, Smoke is a very stern, serious person, and his sin was very much pride. He was very much a prideful person. Mm-hmm. It's him versus the world. He can deal with anything. So that was just throwing that out there.
So when he was saying about the 7 deadly sins, he didn't say it when we came on here, but we had a conversation prior. I'm still live. Okay. Mike's gone. Yep, Q said my mic went out. Got it. Yep, we got it. Hey, Sugar Plum. Mr. Taylor. Mr. Taylor says it's a transferring of spirits. Rachel said his people perish due to a lack of knowledge. I'm just saying, y'all, due a lack of knowledge. No, I just turned it off. Let me turn it back on. Hello? So, what was I saying? Oh, he was talking about the seven deadly sins. He didn't say it on here, but we had a conversation previous. You want to tell about that part?
Um, well, let me tell it later on when.
Oh, when we get to it.
Yeah, a little bit later on when we see the other sins.
Okay.
Um. So where was I at?
She came back in. The lady at the train station, her and old dude.
Yeah. So they went. Boom. You already seen the spirit of lust right there. Then after that, when Sammy got done with old girl, he went to go talk to Smoke. Smoke was like, "Where's Stack at? I need to talk to him." So he told Sammy to go get Stack. Stack, was in the room with old girl. So when Sammy came and opened the door, he saw what they was doing. He left. He told Smoke, "I'm not getting him by myself, so you better come on and get him." So at first they was having sex when Sammy seen. Well, when him and Smoke got back and opened the door, they see Stack bloodied open, all of that, and just see her munching on him.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's what happened. And Smoke first initial reaction was, "Oh, you getting gunned down." So he took out both his guns and he just shooting her. Well, she get back up and she like, "Yeah, we gonna kill all of y'all." And then she ran straight out. So now they like, what's going on? They shut down the juke joint. Most of the people leave not knowing what's going on. So as they leaving, there are certain people who became vampires now because so that happens, and all of them are in there explaining what's going on. And Smoke's lover, the one who's doing Udu, she was pretty much, she was pretty much explaining vampires. Oh, that's vampire, and what vampires do is when they bite you, you're dead, but your soul is still in your body. And what happens is another entity takes over your body, which traps you from going to heaven or hell. So that was the explanation. And she was breaking down. Okay.
So now we're telling you exactly. We ain't say, "Oh, now a demon comes into you." We just say another entity enters your body. Now, for those of you who don't know, a demon is an entity that needs a physical body, which is your shell, in order to fulfill the assignment that they have. So if you have a demon of lust, it needs a body to have sex. If it's a demon of greed, it needs a body to be able to feed that need of whatever it is it wants. They're telling you what they're introducing you to. And it's funny because we as the parishioners, we pay our money for you to tell me stuff and for me to say, "Oh, this is just entertainment. It's just a movie. It ain't real." The devil is a liar. If we think about these movies, where these ideas come from?
Which is crazy because as she started to explain it, the first thing that came up in my mind was, so that's how they do it.
Yes.
Which is they just use something else as a cover up. Which I never thought about it for vampires because I thought vampires was just this scary movie aspect type of character. But as I'm watching it, I'm like, yeah, vampire is based off of something real in the spiritual realm. Same with a witch, same with a warlock, same with all these other entities that are demons. But we just switch it up for film. And it was like, it was kind of like a a click in my mind because I was like, okay, so I can add a vampire to the list with the rest of them. So yeah,
Absolutely. And there is a vampire spirit. That there is nothing like everything that these movies are showing you. It is all real. That's cannibalism. What is cannibalism? They're actually eating people. Witches and warlocks, they need the blood for power. So if I kill you and drain your blood, is that not vampire? These things, they're telling you what's going on in the spirit world, but again, because we're so blinded, or because we know it's blindness, the word says that a carnal person thinks that spiritual things are dumb. They cannot understand the things of the spirit. Why? Because they are not of the spirit. They're carnal. So when they hear, someone can watch us right now. Hello? Huh? Oh, so, this mic is on. So, I forgot what I was saying. What was I? Right, but I was saying I was mid idea.
so they're real. Keep saying how they're real.
Right, they're real, but because someone's watching right now, and they're listening to me, and they're saying that woman is crazy. This ain't real. Ain't none of this real. It's just a movie. And I want you to know, if you pay attention to your life from here on out, because now it's been brought to your attention, you're going to see something. If you've watched the movie, I'm pretty sure you can see some things change in your life. I can put money on that. But they use entertainment as a cover up. But they, like Anthony said, Pastor A had said at the beginning of the show, they are no longer hiding it. At one point, they wasn't so them showing you hoodoo, voodoo. The lust and the perversion that has seeped into things, we were just in the 80s. They wasn't walking around half naked. They weren't showing full on sex scenes in the movies. These things, as Pastor Taylor said, it's the transferring of spirits. So you watch this movie, your spirit is now open to it. Now you go home, you got the spirit of lust on you, and you can't figure out why you want to have sex from watching a commercial. You don't know why all of a sudden pornography is now calling you, if you weren't already into that. You don't know why all of a sudden you're not happy or satisfied with what you have in the house. Greed then attached itself to you. Now I feel like I need a new car. I need more money. I need this. I need that. And all you did was go to a movie. But you'll never put two and two together, because in your head, it was just a movie. It was just for entertainment. Okay, keep going.
I was speaking to my mom earlier before the podcast yesterday, and I was telling her how I seen a TikTok of a young lady who was Christian, and she was saying that when she was watching a movie, She had to pray 4 times, and then she had to leave. And she was saying she just couldn't do it. And in the comments, people were like attacking her because they was like, "Oh, well, why is it that this only happens in a black movie, or why is it that we have to put the movie down because you think it's spiritual and all this and that?" And I was thinking to myself just how scary that mindset is. Like, it's scary, and it's a rude awakening for me because it's like I'm still new to it. I ain't gonna lie. A few years ago, they was at Pastor Ken's church. They started going to Pastor Ken's church, the Deliverance Church, and they was doing deliverance left and right. And in my mind, I was laughing at it because I ain't understand it until they did it to someone, in the house. I don't really want to go and say it, but they did it to someone in the house, and I can see that switch. And it was just seeing it in person and just knowing who that person is and knowing that that person wouldn't say the things that they said. I was like, wow.
This is real.
Yeah. So it's like just seeing there's people on this earth who have that mindset. That was very scary, and that was definitely the audience that they were supposed to tend to, were those type of people. And yeah, so back to the movie, people were leaving, people got bit and whatnot, became vampires, and the girl was explaining what vampires are and how to kill them and whatnot. They was preparing for it, and it was a scene with the Asian lady. Her husband, he left to go crank up the car, and he came back to the door, and she saw him, and she was like, "Baby, you need to come in." And he was no. He was saying, "Let's go, so we can go. We got our daughter waiting for us." And she didn't know what to do. And at the same time, it was another person who they kicked out because they thought he was a vampire getting bit. At the same time that they're having a conversation, and he's not worried about it at all, and that was concerning to them. So then Smoke was like, "Yeah, he gone. That's not your husband no more." And in that time, she was getting rageful, and she was getting very vengeful. So time passed, and she like, "Well, we need to go out there, cause they not gonna come in here, cause we're not letting them in. So they gonna go out there and they gonna hurt more people in the city." And all she was thinking about was her daughter and her husband. And she was mad that her husband turned, but was very scared that they can go after her daughter. So as she's sitting there, she lighting up a Molotov. They sharpening wood to get spears. They eating garlic and whatnot. And she like, "Yeah, come on in." And she invited them in.
The vampires.
Yeah, she invited the vampires in because she didn't want them to go after her daughter. So that was the sin of wrath right there.
Wow.
Yeah. And then the other sin, it was another sin that was on the older guy. The older guy name was Slim, the one who was playing music. And his sin was gluttony. He was an alcoholic. He loved alcohol. You can pay him with alcohol and he'll be good.
Hello?
So just in that scene, I can see, the sins right then.
So, and I just want to point this out because when you say gluttony, people automatically think food.
Food, yeah.
So the fact that they put gluttony with an alcoholic, because the first thing we think of when we think of alcoholic is addiction. Mm-hmm. We never put the sin of gluttony with addiction. Anything other than food. Right. That's interesting. Go ahead.
Yeah. So, Remick opens the door, and then the whole battle goes down, and the Asian lady, she's killing one of them, and as she kills one of them, she burns herself in the process. So she done offed herself killing one of the vampires.
Wow.
And then the whole scene goes down, and it's just gory, and people dying left and right and turning left and right. And it was a scene where Smoke's girl, the Udo girl, she get bit. And she told Smoke before it goes down, if I get bit, kill me so I can go. I got people to go talk to. I got people who need me up there.
That's them ancestors.
Yeah. So
See how they work all this stuff into? That's them ancestors. Because the Udo is a African, what do they call them? An African diaspora. So they believe in talking to the ancestors and all of that. Okay, go ahead.
So he ends up killing her. He took a
Steak.
the wood, the steak, and then stabbed her in her heart. And then Remick sees that and is like, no, why would you kill her? She could have been one of us, and both y'all could have been one of us living happy. And as the whole time that going, they, still the fight going on, and Sammy decides to run. Smoke tells Sammy go run because he's protecting him. So as Sammy is running, he left the juke joint, and Remick goes after him. And it seems like everyone's dead because all the other vampires come out. And Sammy is like in the water. It was like a little puddle, and he went in the water. And Remick got a hold of Sammy. And as he's doing it, Sammy starts to pray, "Our Father, which art in heaven."
Wow.
And as he's saying it, Remick decides to sit there and pray with him while he holding him. He's like, "Yeah, we know those words too." And as he says that,
Wow.
the rest of the vampires starts praying with them.
So
Lead us not into temptation.
that right there, that just dispelled everything that Christians believe.
Right. The devil is in church harder than most than most Christians. We have to understand that. First off, let's go back to even when I stated earlier when Jesus was talking to Satan. Satan was quoting scripture to Christ.
Yep.
Like, hey, and there's nothing you can say that the devil already don't know. The man was in Revelation. It talks about the coverings of the throne.
Need you to fix the camera. Oh, okay.
It's a covering of the throne. And in the covering of the throne, there's a covering that's missing because God has one on each side, one on the foot, and he usually had one at the top. The one at the top is missing. That would be the son of perdition. Right. Jesus said, "I have all of them in my hand. I lost not one except the son of perdition." So now you have to take in consideration, all right, so Satan was a cherubim. Cherubims guarded the throne. That was his job. He was the top covering of the Almighty God himself. This is why he can do what he do. So he was there from the beginning.
Come on,
from
sir.
the creation.
Hello.
So he was cast down before Jesus said, "I saw Satan fall to the earth like lightning." There wasn't no trees, and it was still chaos, and it was still dark. So now you're talking about God created something in the same place that he cast the devil down to. So you have to understand that Satan knows the word. Satan can preach the word probably better than you can name a pastor. And Satan can there's not a pastor on this planet that can probably out preach the devil.
Because he knows.
Because he knows the word. So even when he was
being written.
Right. Even when he was talking to Jesus, he's quoting scripture. That's why he couldn't argue back with the truth. Because you can say the Lord's Prayer. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. They'll tell you that's a model prayer. The devil is scared of scripture, not the model prayer that Jesus gave us as an outline to pray. So when you say that further lets me know that the enemy is letting you know, I know this. And he's letting you know that first off, when the guy who he took, Sam, you was forewarned before you came out here. And because you went against your warning. I have all free reign to you. You're open to me. And you're not strong enough to beat me because you are in disobedience. And a lot of Christians and a lot of people who claim to be in the body, they are going through what they're going through because they are disobedient. And because they are outside of the will of God, they're outside of the protected place of pleasure. So once you move outside of that, once you begin to do those things, now you're free reign. And then this is the other thing. A lot of Christians, they come, they see my wife, they see Pastor Ken, God bless him. They go see Pastor Donnie. They go through deliverance. And then they go back to something like, to watch this movie. Jesus said, when the house is swept clean, the demon go. This is the thing. And this is no disrespect to my deliverance people. This is no disrespect to my wife and anybody who pray deliverance. You cannot bind demons. Your job is to cast them out. That's another day, another story. We'll go down that road.
You done said it, so let me help you.
So, no, you can't help me because I'm going on script. No. Let me finish. Can I finish? I ain't say nothing. Everybody been talking. I've been trying to get everything.
That's because you've been trying to work. Don't play with me.
So now we are to cast them out.
And we are to cast them out.
But
there are some times where you can't cast them out and you have to bind them.
So, okay, that's great.
Okay.
So listen.
Don't do that.
No, I'm not doing anything. I'm just scripturally, biblically.
Even scripturally, biblically. And I can prove it. But
that's neither here. We'll do that on another day. So now.
But if you're going to throw comments out like that, we got to make sure that it's right. Okay.
It's great. So I'm usually right 99.7% of the time. So now,
don't look at me.
But when y'all are praying over people, when y'all are casting demons out of people, when y'all are praying and you're binding and you're loosing and you're doing everything, the thing becomes the individual. A lot of people want to fight the deliverance minister. A lot of people want to call them false prophets. A lot of people want to say, oh, well, you didn't do this and you didn't do that and I got this and I went there. The question becomes, where did you go after you left the prayer session? Mm-hmm. What did you do after the prayer session? Mm-hmm. A lot of the times, some of you come and it's not really that you have demon issues. You have flesh issues. Mm-hmm. You have behavior issues.
Yep.
And because you have behavior issues, you now don't take the accountability on your own, so you put it off on the devil. So now you have a behavior problem, and now you're saying, oh, well, this is the spirit of procrastination. This is the spirit of this. This is the spirit of my big toe. This is the spirit of my tooth broken in the back, so I can't eat. You see what I'm saying? So whatever you want to blame it on, a lot of the times it becomes a decision. So when they knocked on the door and said, can we come in? We all have a decision to make. Also, a lot of Christians go get deliverance. They get cleansed. Jesus said, once they cast the demon out, he goes away. And then he gets bored. Then he says, I'm going home. And I think we don't really pay attention to the words that Jesus actually used. He said, I'm going home. I'm going back to my house. Which means that you housed him, you fed him, you clothed him, you gave him all his power, and that came from you to him because you opened the door. But what he said was, when he comes back and the house is swept clean, and once the house is swept clean, he sees it. He don't come back by himself. He come back with 7 more worse than him. So now to go watch this movie To say that, like you said about the little girl who had to pray 20 times and then she had to leave. So when you keep opening yourself up to other things, you just left a deliverance. My wife just prayed for you. She just cast out the demon. Then you go watch Sinners or whatever, the lady in the yard, the people under the house, whatever movie you're going to watch. When you go watch these things, the demon that you just got rid of, he coming back with 7. And Jesus didn't just say he coming back with 7 demons. He said he's coming back with 7 worse than him. So now we're opening the door to something that is worse, worse than what we got rid of. So you tried to get rid of lust, perversion. So now, okay, so you tried to get rid of lust. So now the question becomes, what was you lusting? Because lust has 2 forms. It could either be sexual, or you're lusting power, or you're lusting material things, or whatever the case may be. So now what do we bring? Okay, so now you try to get rid of lust. Oh, okay. So let's say it was sexual. So now we'll bring in something that is dominance. Will take you over the edge of not even you just being lustful for the same sex, but now I'll make you lustful for the opposite sex, because you're not just looking for sex, you're looking for the feeling that comes at the end of it. So it doesn't matter where you get that feeling, you just want that feeling.
So now I can open you up to homosexuality, bestiality,
anything that so now, oh, okay, so then now seduction, then lying, then you see what I'm saying? So now it stacks up. So now when we talk about going through deliverance and we talk about people being delivered, now you're going and you're putting yourself in a position to watch, because your ears and your eyes is the gates to
your soul.
To your soul. So now, if I just got rid of something that is in this movie, just the girl who had to study the witchcraft opens the door from the time the movie opens, whether we kill the vampires and now we're at a point where the vampires is like, oh yeah, our Father who art in heaven, because guess what? That is their Father. They didn't lie. Everything that was created by him. And for him, all things were created. Now, just because you got kicked out does not mean that that's still not your Father. That does not mean that that's still not your creator.
Because he says in Genesis, the sons of, what they call the Nephilims? The sons of...
the sons of men.
Which is also what Christ was called.
Right.
The Son of Man.
So so now with these things, now they're going to quote scripture with you because they know it better than you.
Yep.
They was there in the beginning. They was there when it started. So it's like, yeah, our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, thy kingdom come, let thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven.
Okay, so hold on. Let him finish because we got 5 minutes. Finish what you were saying about them praying. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
So
They
they
were
was
saying
praying,
the Lord's Prayer.
saying the Lord's Prayer, and they got done. And right after that, it said Remick was about to get Sam. But once they got done saying the prayer, Smoke came out of nowhere, and he killed Remick.
But then Smoke become a vampire?
No, Stack became a vampire.
Gotcha.
His brother became a vampire. So what happened was, during this scene, Smoke and Stack were fighting. And Smoke had Stack pinned down. He was like, "This is my brother. I took him under my wing. I protect him. I can't kill him." So what happened was, he let Stack live. But he told him, "Don't go after Sammy." And Stack got up and ran and left. So he escaped. So Smoke was able to come and killed Remick before he got Sammy. So after that, the sun came up. So as the sun came up, the sun got pretty much all of the vampires except Stack and Stack, old girl, Haley, the one,
Okay.
because she ran away before the sun came up. So most of the vampires died.
So then most likely it's going to be a part 2 because them 2 are left.
So
No?
Well, I'll explain that later.
Okay.
why you don't think it'll be a part 2?
He said he's going to
because-
explain that later.
Oh, I can do it now because Ryan Coogler said he just wanted it to be a one and done.
Gotcha.
And they
Okay.
pretty much, it was a credit scene that happens after the movie that kind of shows what happened to them and whatnot.
Okay. Gotcha.
So after that, it was just the only people alive at the moment was just Smoke and Sammy. And I think Smoke told him just go back to your dad. And Sammy still had his guitar. He broke his guitar, hitting Remick with it. But he went back to church. Now all of this took place on one Saturday. So when the sun came up, it was Sunday. So he came and went to church. He went to church all bloodied up. Looked like he done had a heck of a night.
Right.
And busted open through the church. And he still had his guitar in his hand. And his dad was looking at him and was like, son, come in. But you got to put down the guitar. And instead of doing that and going and understanding what he just said was right earlier today and told me what was going to happen, I should go listen to him. But no, he don't do that. He decides to get in the car, still have hold of his guitar, and went on down the road.
And he left.
And you know that is, son, come in and put down your guitar. Jesus, son, come in and put down your sin.
Right.
No, I'm not. I want it, so I'm hanging on to it, and I'm leaving with it. And that's the problem that most Christians
have.
And we're fighting people who like their sin, but their mouth saying they want freedom.
But that's what I was saying earlier. Like, you pray over someone and you walk them through deliverance, and then they still.
But see, that's when you're in deliverance, you have to be connected to God. And you have to be able to hear and discern. Because the Holy Spirit will tell you they like what they're doing.
Right.
Leave them be.
Right.
You've seen me do that. I'll tell somebody, okay, I hear what you're saying, but you like where you are and you like your sin. Me taking you through deliverance is going to be detrimental, and it's going to hurt you more than me leaving you as you are.
So even with that, he doesn't put down the guitar. They still allow evil to live based on a love for the individual. Mm-hmm. So it's almost like hate the sin, but love the sinner. Mm-hmm. So what happens is, a lot of the times when we get there, we are afraid to confront the sin because we love the sinner. We hate the sin, but we don't say anything about the sin because we love the sinner. So you don't kill your brother because you deeply love your twin, but you understand the evil that lurks within him. So you still allow him to live. And then now here's the young man who his father is symbolic to God standing in the church saying, son, come home, but you have to give up your sin. You're looking at, I have to put down something that I love. But what we fail to realize is a lot of the times God will test you to put down the thing that you love above him. Mm-hmm. Abraham always wanted a son. God said, I have given you everything. And he was like, yeah, that's great. I don't care nothing about the material things and all the wealth and the land, and I own all the Middle East. That means nothing to me. I don't have a son. the one thing he wanted. And then God told him, the one thing that you want, lay it down. Put it down. And then Abraham put Isaac on as a grown man. He wasn't no little bitty baby. He wasn't in diapers. He was in his 30s. That's like me taking you to Stone Mountain and be like, son, and you be like, yo, so where's the sacrifice? Oh, God to provide. And we steady going up Stone Mountain. And then we get there and I be like, all right, son, I need for you to lay on this altar. And because he was able to put his son on the altar, showed that he loved God more than he loved the one thing that he wanted. But like your mom said, a lot of us don't want to let go of that one thing that God is telling us to lay down. Because 9 times out of 10, God just wants you to lay it down. So
How long?
there she go. She back on.
All right, cool.
So
And that was the end of the movie.
That was, yeah, pretty much. But the other end was, which is my favorite part. So before that, in the very beginning, Smoking Stack, they bought, the juke joint, but they bought it from a white dude. And it was like, once they bought it in cash. And it was like, I don't want to see you or any one of your KKK members over here. And the white dude was like, oh, the KKK been abolished for years. So that happened. And then later on, while Remick was talking to Stack and whatnot, as revealing that he's a vampire and whatnot, he was saying, like, yeah, do y'all not know who gave y'all the juke joint? It was the KKK. And, come sunrise, they gonna shoot this place up. So that's what happened. So for Smoking, what happened was he was still at the juke joint. And, he had all the gun power that he had brought from Chicago. So he was sitting there setting up, getting ready for the KKK to come. So then he went inside like the cornfield and was setting up. And while the KKK came, he had his little LMG and he was spraying everything down and was killing everybody. And then got to a point where he got shot. And the dude who sold him the house, he got shot as well, but he was still living. And Smoke sat down because he couldn't stand no more. And as he sat down and looked, he saw his girl and their child. I guess their child died years ago.
Okay.
So she was holding on to the child, breastfeeding it, and was like, if you want to hold him, you gotta put the gun down. No, if you want to, he had a cigarette in his mouth and was like, if you want to hold him, you gotta put the cigarette out. And as he was seeing her, the KKK dude was like, hey, look, I got money, anything you need. And he upped the Tommy gun and shot him and emptied out the whole clip on him and threw the gun away, threw the smoke out so he can hold his kid. And he died right there. And then that was the end of the movie. But then the credit scene came where it was like the 1980s or 90s at this time. And Sammy is now a renowned musician. And he got done, so now he had the bar, and out comes Stat and Haley. And they came, dressed out in the 90s, still the same age. And they came and was like, you know what, we ain't kill you? Because Smoke said not to touch you. And then there was like, I don't really like recordings because they're not as good as the same thing. So can you play something for us? So he played some, and then they left and went on about their day. He was still drinking his drink, and then that was the end of the movie.
Oh,
interesting.
Wow. Yeah, that's an interesting ending.
Yeah.
That was a real interesting ending. I don't even know how that played into the movie, but okay.
So, all said and done, the movie sounds very interesting from your point of view and perspective. Would you recommend a believer to go and see this movie? Just based on everything that you heard here today.
Well, let me preface this. Before I listened to them, I would have said, if you're not spiritually aware, don't go watch it. If you're not somebody who understands spirituality, understand that everything has a purpose, I would say no, don't go watch it, because you will definitely let something into your house. But if you were, spiritually aware, if you have an understanding of certain things, and if you have a relationship with God, I would say you can go watch it. But after listening to y'all, no. No. Nah, don't go watch it. Don't go watch it.
So your mother has convinced you to tell people not to watch the movie.
Yeah.
I convinced him.
Well, I'm not going to say she convinced me, but
Right.
it was like she gave me a better understanding of why you shouldn't watch the movie.
See? That's what I'm talking about.
I mean, you did that. You saved some souls. Take the high five.
Thank you,
Keep it
son.
moving.
I don't understand
You
your
saved,
mom.
you saved some people.
One more time for the camera. They didn't see it.
I think she mad.
Why you mad? Give me some sugar.
But yeah.
So, okay. So, we not telling folks to go see the movie Sinners.
Yeah, nah.
So let me ask this question. As the title says that this is one of the most spiritual movies for 2025, but not in the way you think, is the title on point?
Yeah. I think it would be on point because people probably wouldn't think it's spiritual, so they wouldn't even think that it's a spiritual movie. That wouldn't have ever came up in somebody's mind. So with the title being Sinners is the most spiritual movie of the year, they'll be like, oh, why is it spiritual movie of the year? Well, let me watch this to see why this would be a spiritual movie of the year.
I am interested to see what are going to be some of the comments that come later. I'm real interested to see the arguments that are going to come.
The wife is
as
smart.
response
I got a few.
to.
The wife is smart
Is
and the
that
husband is
thunder?
stupid. I hope not, because boy, listen here. I got an hour ride.
I think that's thunder.
Rain, go away, come back in 2 weeks.
Okay, so that wow.
That was pretty good.
Yeah.
I thank you for sharing, and
Thank you for coming on the show.
and I thank my son for coming on the show. Everybody
Right.
give my son a hand. Thank you.
Yeah.
This was actually his show idea.
Yeah.
So don't worry. I'm gonna tell you this is not gonna be the last time y'all see him. So maybe somebody can see me. But this won't be the last time y'all see him here.
Might be it for a while. Still got camera fright.
That's all right.
Stage fright.
You did great. You did great. You did great.
All right, so with that being said, thank y'all for tuning in. Thank y'all for participating. Those of you who did participate, if you have show ideas, we did ask for you to send them on in. Where they send them to?
The pastor. If I type it out in the phone.
Pastor's Q&A.
The pastor's Q&A. You can send them to the email address that y'all see. That's in Facebook and in YouTube. Also, can I ask for a favor? Could everyone start who is on Facebook? Please, please, please come subscribe. I'm asking for 2 favors, especially those who are on YouTube. Please give us a thumbs up. Please subscribe if you haven't. Please click the notification bell so you can get notifications every time we go live. This is so we don't have to keep sending out what's called them things? Messages. So you can click the notification bell, get a notification every time we go live. Also, please give us a thumbs up and share this with people that you know that need to hear this. To my people that's on Facebook, please come to our YouTube channel. Please come to our YouTube channel. Like, subscribe, and share. because we're definitely going to be more heavier on YouTube than on Facebook. So in the coming months. So definitely everybody come to YouTube. Please make sure you give us a thumbs up, like, subscribe. And the email is in the description, is in the comments. I probably need to put it in the description box too. But the email is in the comments. You can send us your show ideas. And
yeah, we love y'all. We see y'all. Are we coming back tomorrow?
that's on you. We want to come back tomorrow. What's tomorrow?
Oh, no. Tomorrow's Thursday, and we're getting ready for prom.
We're getting ready for prom.
We'll see y'all next week.
Next week, Tuesday, 2:00. We out.